You're setting up a blog. Let me give you a few of the legal considerations and just a quick guide to make sure you're doing everything the right way. First mistake we see is hopefully an obvious one, but it's using, aka stealing other people's content. Don't use anyone else's copywritten work or trademark work unless you have their permission. There's also some exceptions on how you can do it. To learn more about that, you can go to our video on trademarking and copyright, link right here, and you can use that to figure out how to protect your own content. But in terms of mistakes, just make sure you don't copy, plagiarize, or use anyone else's. It's A, not a good business model because people like originality, and B, it's illegal. Second one, not using disclaimers. This is more important in some areas than others, but let's say your health or fitness, you want to disclaim certain things. And what that means is you want to tell your audience what you're doing for them and also what you're not doing for them. So what you are, if let's say you're a personal trainer, you are trained in how to get someone's physical body or physically in shape. You are not trained necessarily in detecting diseases, illnesses, or knowing how these things interact. So you just want to say the obvious, which is, I'm not a doctor, check with your doctor. If you have underlying issues, I'm not aware of you. The same thing, for lawyers or law firms, you say, given general information, it's not customized. What you want to do is try to explain this as though, I try to tell people I have a 5-year-old son, explain it as though you're talking to your 5-year-old or 8-year-old kid that you know, not in a sense to be condescending, but make it super clear, because sometimes we might think something is obvious. I've been, a lawyer for over a decade, so when I'm talking about legal stuff, I think it's obvious that people know it's not customized advice, but it's not always obvious. So you just want to make sure that you're not assuming people know where your expertise is and where it isn't, and where you would recommend additional advice. These things are also easy to put together, and they are a great bang for your buck just to make super clear on what your audience should expect from you. The third thing, there's a super easy one to fix, is don't be a sole proprietor. Get in an LLC. There's a link below on how to file for an LLC on Drafted Legal. What this does is it protects your personal assets from the business. So you're trying to create almost a separate asset itself, just create a separate business that's its own working entity that is separate from you. Yes, you're working in it. Yes, your name's attached to it, but it's still separate. It's almost, you're an agent of that business. That way, if something goes wrong, or there's a lawsuit or there's a debt or anything that can happen, it just stays within that entity. You can do this with an LLC. It'd be perfect. Other things would be like a GDPR compliance, privacy policy compliance. So this is the European Union's privacy policy. It does things like makes people have to check to sign into a newsletter, and there's some policy aspects of it. Whatever you use, make sure you use it, because it is applicable even though you're in the United States, if you have visitors from the European Union, which you likely will. So go ahead and make that compliant. It's easy. You can just get a GDPR compliant privacy policy and read through and customize it to what you need, or get a lawyer to do it. Just make sure that that's included. While you're on it, you want to make sure you have terms and conditions on your website. This just sets the stage for what the rules of your blog website are. You can say, don't steal my stuff. Here's how to contact me. Rules about if, let's say, people can speak on the, post on the website, profanity, vulgarity, that sort of stuff, how they can use the content, how they can attribute to you. It also can, there's a great place to put a disclaimer, although we'd recommend doing the disclaimer separate so it's highlighted, but I'd put it in there and limit your liability. You can pick, where a lawsuit would happen. So we're in Charleston, South Carolina, so we would always pick South Carolina. So, what if someone does sue you and you don't have that in there? They could sue you across the country, and how do you go to magistrate court or circuit court across the country? The last thing would be disclosure. So let's say you do affiliate marketing. Disclose that. This is required by the FTC. We have a blog where you can read more here. Just make sure you're being transparent. That's what a lot of this is transparency. Just making sure your audience knows what you're selling and why. People don't, usually they can tell when you genuinely like a product. You say, hey, I like this product. I am making money for it. It helps pay for the blog. but it's a great product. I've used it, that sort of thing. And you know, today people like using the bloggers to make money on that because it encourages you to continue to do a good job and make good recommendations, and funds their experimenting with different products. So make sure you avoid those mistakes. Go to draftedlegal.com for more free information on how to set up your business, how to get templates, all sorts of stuff. Comment below if you have any questions and want a different YouTube video. We'll be sure to address it. Thanks. Best of luck.